Don't panic, remain calm. His mind was racing. Perhaps I erased the place my pad was placed. Overthinking his last thoughts was his misplaced. Retracing his steps to find his mistake. Led him clueless, a straight away.
Good evening. My name is B. Chantel, and welcome to a Just Marsalis production. Tonight we're going to be speaking with the filmmaker and the cast of the up-and-coming movie REM. And first up, we'll be speaking with the filmmaker himself, Branford Marsalis Parker. How are you today?
I'm fine. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Okay, so before we dive into the movie, let's get to know who Branford is, okay? So tell us who you are as a filmmaker and a creative.
So I am a filmmaker. I've been a filmmaker ever since 2013, so about give or take 10 years or so. I got into filmmaking actually when I was at Jackson State when I was a communications major. Digging back a little deeper, it goes back to 2014 when I got my first chance to be on an actual set of a professional set, and I got to meet the late and great Chadwick Boseman.
Oh, wow.
And I was on set as an extra, but also as a band member, so a supporting role, playing trumpet and Get On Up. And just being around Chadwick, it really inspired me. Like just his aura, demeanor, the way people looked at him and the way he inspired people around him just to be better. It was something else, and I really gravitated towards that, and I said, you know what, I want to do that. I want to meet you again in a different light and work with you on a whole nother level. Unfortunately, I did not get to do that, but just his presence in that moment just kind of thwarted me towards creating, and so here I am.
Okay, I like that. So you say you play the trumpet?
Yes, I do.
Do you play any other instruments?
I dabble in some
a little
other
bit.
areas, but I wouldn't dare say I play any other instrument and
Right.
try to play anything else.
So, in keeping with that theme, how does your musical background help you create films?
So a lot of people do not know. I'm actually named after Branford Marsalis, the jazz musician, legend. And I really kind of pushed myself to be just like him. That's what pushed me to play trumpet. Specifically, Wynton Marsalis actually pushed me to play trumpet. He didn't force me or anything like that, but just seeing those guys in this great atmosphere of inspiring people and really controlling the narrative around their music pushed me to want to control my own narrative around myself. I felt as if I had to be great. But instead of in music, I kind of used the passion that I had to be great and pushed it into my own field, which I groomed to be my own in film.
Nice. So they are your inspiration. Who else would you say inspires you, or is your muse, or is just your inspiration to create and to, putting that in your films?
You know, a lot of the inspiration I get is from my friends and family.
Nice.
You know, really dialing in on my own experiences and trying to bring those to life. I feel like every person has their own unique life experience, and a lot of times we don't document that. We think about it, we write it in a journal, and it just sits. I think what makes people unique is their own experiences throughout their life, and some of those experiences I feel like are unique, and some have to be told. So I would say my parents, friends, just hearing some of their experiences and wanting to share that as long as they allow me to, I think that's what inspires me the most. Nice,
nice. So you draw from personal experiences, but do you also let your imagination kind of drive the creative process as well?
Yes, of course. I do allow my imagination to take over. At times it can be a little bit, I would say, out of the ordinary, which I think is to my benefactor, because once you start using your imagination, that's when creativity takes place, and you say, wow, I really haven't seen anything like that.
Right.
I don't think that way, and that's what I want to do, is make people think differently.
Nice, nice. Okay, so let's talk about REM, right? So how does this film differ from anything else that you've done in the past, like when you were in school or any other projects you've done?
From a standpoint of working on this project, this will be the first time that I actually work with actors that are wanting to be, as a complete cast, wanting to be something greater than just a local or just a neighborhood actor. And that's no shade to any of the previous actors I've worked with. Everyone I worked with is very talented. I feel like we always bring those characters to life. But I think this is the first, and I believe a lot of the films I worked on were also first, but in this particular case, this was a first for me to work with actors who were very ambitious to become something greater than what they are right now.
Nice, nice. And is there any additional motivation behind or inspiration behind creating this specific film?
So this one's a little bit deeper than my previous films. My previous film was my first, and then my second film was what inspired me, which was In Love Chain. This particular film here hits home because it was a personal life experience. It hit because I'm trying not to explain or give any spoilers or anything like that, but it hits differently because of the personal life experience, and the experience kind of changed my life I would say for the better. Definitely without this experience, I wouldn't be who I am today. I would say this changed me completely from this quiet, mellow kid to now slightly less quiet, mellow kid that has a lot of confidence in who he is because of the fact that it's such a traumatizing experience, an eye-opener. I'm just more confident about approaching people, and I treat my friendships and a lot of the people around me I treat differently because of it.
Interesting. Okay, so let's tap back into the music part.
Okay.
That was very interesting. So have you brought any of your music experiences or inspirations into this film? Is it music heavy like what you did with Get Up, or is it different? It is?
So, first off, the music that is in this film is all 100% original. Never heard before. Just creating that from a standpoint of having to take my hands off of it and trust Joshua Edwards, who is my composer, my film composer on this one. He helped bring in the life that the two artists and the two main characters have with each other. He set the tone, and the music I depended on so much in this film to drive the narrative forward, to keep the listeners, to keep the viewers entertained. He did an insanely great job in bringing that together. I can't thank him enough on that. Just have to sit back and just take my hands off of it was just an experience itself, because for the first year, this actually was supposed to come out in 2018, but it wasn't ready. Simply because the music wasn't there, and I wouldn't put out a product that wasn't ready first.
That's good. Quality is what we're looking for. Always quality. So, what's his name again? I want to make sure we get that name so we all know who the composer is. Say it again.
Joshua Edwards.
Joshua Edwards. So be on the lookout for Joshua Edwards. And staying within the music, do you have a favorite genre of music? Since jazz is embedded in your name, would that happen to be
Jazz
favorite?
is definitely my favorite genre of music. It's the only thing that can get me to feel all the moods I want to feel. If I want to feel sad, I want to feel happy, if I want to feel motivated, anything like that, when I was studying, I always put on like orchestra music or jazz music, something instrumental, because jazz can't be dated, simply because you don't know who it is unless you know how they play. But I love jazz music, and I try to implement that into the hip hop music that you will be hearing from that. And a side note, there's a surprise. My namesake is on this one as well.
Nice.
He did agree to help out and lay down some sounds for me. So I'm very, very, very excited about that.
Ooh, I'm excited about that as well. Okay, so jazz is your favorite genre of music. Do you have a favorite genre of film in general, or a favorite genre of film that you would like to create?
I don't really have a favorite genre of film. I like to think everything is my favorite. I just haven't tried it yet. But I like to pull different aspects of of different films and really kind of make it my own. I don't really do the stereotypical documentary if I can style it the way I want to. I don't typically do the same action flick that, that everyone's, entertained by every day, right? This is not gonna be the typical Marvel movie. But I will say, just like Love Chain, because Love Chain was a silent action film, this too will be on its own first, and it's kind of like a cross genre of like a musical, as well as a drama, as well as a slight action. It has a little bit of everything.
Okay, come on, cross genre. I like that. Okay, so I have one last question for you. And of course, I'm super excited to see it, and I know it's going to be a great film, but will there be a sequel?
That is up in the air.
Okay.
Depending on how people take this one, I will definitely explore that. Funny story is, I wasn't sure if this was going to be a standalone film for one, or if I was going to make this more of a series. But that's something down the road, depending on if this gets picked up by anybody with some money. Anybody with some money.
Anybody with some money, all right?
That will help me out and actually help me flesh this out a little bit more. But it definitely can be a sequel.
Nice. I love that. Well, I'm super excited for you. I'm super excited for new talent, to see the new talent in the movie. And I can't wait to see it. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that can't wait to see it. So thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
Thank you for coming, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And we'll be right back with more cast from the movie REM.
Should have been looking harder, you're right, but I didn't bother. Went back to his room, noticed his pad was missing, knew something was going on. He confirmed his past position, checked his intuition before he began to mention. Also started his mission like divine intervention. Tried it down the stairs, made it